Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Caravan of Garbage, where we're taking a look at the Punisher movie trilogy, someone said?
Someone said.
Someone's been saying that.
Okay.
And what's interesting is most people would think there's only 2 Punisher movies. But if you've read the title before clicking on this video, which presumably you have, you would now know that the first Punisher movie arrived in 1989.
You're presuming a very specific type of person who knows of the 2 subsequent Punisher movies,
Yes.
but has not even considered the notion that there may have been one made before the year 2000.
And they clicked on this video.
Yep.
This is now currently news to that person.
And it says Punisher 1989, but they're like, this cannot be true. This probably 20-minute long video. It's probably them just going, yeah, we wish there was a Punisher movie in 1989, but there wasn't.
No, there was.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it.
Yeah, please leave a like.
It's hard to get.
It is hard to get.
Luckily, we have VHS copies individually.
It's also on YouTube, but it's all weird.
Is it one of those ones that they cut out like a couple of seconds at a time every bit, so it isn't found by the copyright police?
Yeah, apparently there's like music cut in and out of it. And
Okay, all right.
It's not the version that I watched. You can purchase it though. It is Blu-ray available.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But not streaming available.
No, it's not.
Okay, interesting.
Make it that what you will. Maybe it's not available streaming because it's a New World Pictures Australia Presents movie.
And they don't exist anymore?
I guess. What I liked about this is, from the outset, it's not obviously Australian to me. Because often the downfall of something being filmed in Australia is... Star Wars Episode 2 is a classic example.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know every person in this. This isn't Star Wars. This is Home and Away.
Absolutely.
And they're wearing cloaks.
So this is people who couldn't get a gig on Home and Away.
Yeah,
it's all those actors. Just to keep you updated, New World Pictures, founded by Roger Corman and Gene Corman, and defunct 28 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I didn't know initially that this was an Australian, a filmed in Australia production until the first gangster started talking, and I'm like...
G'day, mate.
Yes, exactly.
Where's the skull on your shirt? We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, the Punisher does have a link to Australians in his origin in the comics because he trained with the SASR during the Vietnam War.
Oh, and he went to Australia once.
Did he?
Yeah, he got stuck in an emerald mine or something.
Oh.
He had a scorpion. I have the issue.
Great.
Somewhere, yeah.
Have you got the issue where he turned black?
Yeah.
That's a real one.
Yeah.
If you're listening to the audio, that's a real one.
And then it wore off after a few issues.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm back to being the Punisher again.
So this was directed by Matt Goldblatt, and he's mainly known for editing. He edited the likes of Commando, Terminator 1 and 2, True Lies, Starship Troopers.
Huh.
He's been editing some good stuff, Mason.
Interesting.
Now, I think
Yes.
this is pretty okay. I think you have a more negative opinion on it.
I just
than
don't
me.
think it's anything.
Oh, wow.
It's no different from anything else Dolph Lundgren did in this era, I don't think.
Yeah, I guess that's...
It's just an angry guy with a gun, and he's got a vague motivation because someone in his life was killed, and he's like, well, I better wield a random assortment of machine guns and machine gun a random assortment of vague gangsters and Yakuza guys and whatever.
He does action well, though, doesn't he?
Does it all right, yeah.
And he's big. They've changed his origin here where he is a former cop instead of a war vet, though the ultimate version is a cop, isn't he?
Potentially.
Yeah, potentially. Write that down, everybody. He loves knives as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's more of a knife guy. He's a hangman guy at one point.
He does the hangman stuff.
Just one of his first...
I just said he does a hangman stuff. I can leave that in, right?
I think you can definitely leave that in. We can make that trend. Hashtag he does a hangman stuff. Get put on a list. Let's do it. But yeah, one of his early kills in the movie is he dangles like a piece of fishing line with a noose on the end down a full story and loops it around a guy's neck and then hangs him. I'm
he's
like,
big.
That's really impressive.
Hashtag he's a hangman stuff.
You'd also know, it would take ages to line it up is what I'm saying.
No, he's good. He's talented.
That's what I'm saying.
He trained with the SASR and they do that. That's how they got about in the army. I don't know if you knew that.
I know some things about them, sure.
Yeah, you know some things. You know what I don't like about him? His beard. He looks like he's in a Punisher stage play.
Yes, he does.
He's like...
He looks like he's insecure about his inability to grow facial hair and he saw a TV infomercial about spray-on facial hair.
So it's like a stencil you put over your face.
It could be a stencil, yeah.
You spray it on.
Yeah.
And you go, no, you look tired.
He looks so tired, and I understand the impetus there of like he's on a one-man war against crime, and that...
It's tired.
It's tiring. You'd be knackered
Yeah.
after a full day of garroting and throwing a knife, and then sometimes you've got a Tommy gun, and you're like
dangling a rope.
You're dangling a rope, or you sometimes you crossbow a guy into the side of a van, and then you hook a rope onto the line that's hanging off the back of the crossbow, and you scoot a flying fox down while firing a machine gun.
Yep.
That's exhausting, but I think they've gone too far. He really looks like he's going to nod off at any second.
Oh, so you don't think it's so much exhaustion as just a guy who should just lie down for a bit because he stayed up too late?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Apparently Dolph Lundgren did stay up really late for this, and so that's how you got that kind of haggard kind of appearance. Because normally, he's blonde and golden, whereas here he's pasty white with like black hair.
I think that should be more actors, like Marvel Universe actors preparation. Like Chris Evans, how did you prepare for the role of Captain America? I just stayed up really late. You can tell in the performance, I think.
Oh, yeah. I will say this for Dolph Lundgren. He was diagnosed with liver cancer in 2015, but announced he was cancer-free in November of 2024 after a very long road. So that's great.
That is great.
I'm glad he's alive and doing well. Also, a genius. He's like a chemical engineer and a bunch of other stuff.
And you'd also say he's a good actor, right?
Yeah. He's good at what he does. Big lumbering guy.
Yeah.
Indeterminable accent. Also, if you watch that movie where he returns as Drago, the Creed one, he's really good in that.
I agree.
He does a fantastic performance. So yes, I would say that actually. I know you were being facetious, but I'm on Dolph's side.
James, I wasn't being facetious. I was trying to trap you and saying a mean thing. Then I'd say you're a mean guy for saying that.
Yeah.
And I would have said, I think he is a good actor.
I normally would walk into that.
Yeah, But you've had a good night's sleep. So.
I guess.
Yeah.
How do I look?
Terrible.
Yeah. Huge body count in this movie, which is very 80s of it. But it's like that 80s kind of violence, It's mostly people having thrown knives into them. There is one point where he blows up the pokies like the song.
Sure, yeah.
Which is, a lot of fun.
That's a song by the Australian band The Whitlams.
They know.
It's about the dangers of gambling, and then Tim Friedman, the lead singer of that band, sort of went out of the public eye for years, and in an interview later, they were like, what have you been up to? And he's like, I've been a professional gambler for quite a while. It's actually great if you've got a lot of money.
That's good.
It is good.
You should write a song about that.
Oh, right?
Yeah. So this has 91 kills in total. Frank Castle kills 60. Plus, it's mentioned before the movie started, he killed 125. That's pretty good stats for the Punisher, I think.
I think so too, yeah.
For 5 years of work, that is solid as Mason. Do you know what isn't solid?
Go on.
Put the goddamn skull on his shirt. What were they thinking? I'm the angry video game nerd. What were they thinking, Mason?
Right?
A buffalo should stick a dog up its ass. I'm the angry video game nerd, Mason.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
What do you think?
That was good. That was good. He should put the skull on his shirt, and at one point he turns down a bulletproof vest.
Unbelievable.
The skull's got the bulletproof stuff in it.
Yeah, man.
Come on.
I mean, it's not as cool though, is it?
No.
It's cooler to get shot.
That's true.
So it was not a licensing thing that they didn't do it. They were allowed to, but director Mark Goldblatt, he said in hindsight, look, we should have put the Punisher's logo on that and, incorporated it into the wardrobe. But I think at that time they were thinking, oh, it'll be like the black onesie and the white boots.
Yeah, right.
And the skull. And it's kind of evolved beyond that to, it's a trench coat with a, a skull or it's built into the armor that he's wearing or whatever. There's like a bunch of varieties of it that we've seen even in live action that they could have done.
No, you're right. At the time, the comic book version did have, the stylish white gloves and the white booties.
Also, I like that look. I think it's good. I mean, it wouldn't have looked good here, but I still think it's good, Mason. Also, do you know, speaking of Australia, which we were many minutes ago, Nicole Kidman was going to star in this initially.
As the Punisher?
No, she was going to be another person in this. I can't remember specifically who.
Well, I think she should have been the Punisher.
Well, luckily they got to do another comic book movie together later down the line. Which one is it? Go.
Oh, it's Aquaman.
Yes, it is, Mason. Well done.
Thank you.
But was it Aquaman 2?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah, right. Other Australian acting royalty in this, Barry Otto.
Who's Barry Otto?
It's Miranda Otto's dad.
Who's he playing this?
He's the guy. He's the weird actor guy.
Oh, he's Shakespeare friend.
The alcoholic actor who's like, He
rhymes everything.
Yeah, and he's just wandering around and he knows everything that happens in the world of the underworld, even though he's just a drunk guy.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is his deal in this? Because normally, he has a bunch of informants, but his go-to guy is Micro, right?
Yeah.
What's this guy?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I'm asking you.
That's why I don't think so much of this works, because it's just a guy.
Okay.
Where's the Kingpin? Where's Micro, where's Jigsaw?
Where is Jigsaw?
They're in the subsequent movies.
We'll talk about those.
And one's in Daredevil.
One's in Daredevil, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't the Thing, doesn't he play Micro in...
Eben Moss-Backrack, yes. He's in the Punisher Netflix series.
How did he do that?
Acting.
He's doing acting, everyone.
Right?
Check it out. It's the Punisher in cinemas now, Netflix. Is it?
Yeah.
Great. So, the idea of the Punisher is as well, he has incredible pain tolerance. So, of course, there's a torture scene in this where they're stretching him out, making him even taller, if you can believe that.
Can't believe it.
But he gets out, and then he puts the guy in the rack. Now, I think I missed something, but the guy that they put in the rack is wearing high heels. Did they put those on him?
I think
Was that a gag from like...
I don't know.
Okay, so I didn't miss something.
Maybe we should email Mark Goldblatt, famous editor, and be like, oh, I think you missed an edit here, Mr. Goldblatt. You goose.
Yeah.
You golden goose.
Because there were no other women like in that room from memory.
No, they were at one point.
But they'd all left.
They all left.
Did they leave their shoes?
Maybe they left their shoes.
Yeah.
It's all very vague, isn't it?
It is very vague.
Yeah. Also, akin to some of the Indiana Jones movies, I feel like...
Good movies, all of them.
I feel like if the Punisher wasn't in this, the storyline would sort of resolve itself. Because the Mafia and the Yakuza, who are at odds in this movie, would just kill each other. Just go home, the Punisher. Just
go back to the sewer where you live, the Punisher.
That's right.
That drain that you crawl out of.
Continue to motorcycle through the sewer, the Punisher.
He does love a motorcycle, doesn't he?
Because at one point, so the plot of this is that the Mafia are having trouble with the Punisher.
Yep. Is he even real?
And he's
people see him all the time.
Yeah, that's right. You can't miss him.
He lets you see him as well. He's not hiding.
He's the guy without the skull on his chest. You cannot miss him. And then the Yakuza horn in on the Mafia's action.
Ooh.
And then they decide to kidnap a bunch of the Mafia guys' kids.
Yeah.
And then they just sort of machine gun each other to death. And then one of the Mafia guys is like, the Punisher, help me rescue my kid. And he's like...
Yep.
I guess, sure.
Yeah, they get to storm a building together. I like that sequence. It feels very, what's that John Woo movie? Hard Boiled, but not as good. You know, when they're storming
way worse.
Yeah, way worse.
So much worse.
I'm telling you that. But it feels like that.
Yeah.
Remember the people they open the elevator or the door or whatever and they just machine gun 40 ninjas? That's pretty good.
That was funny. Before they even have a chance to draw their swords. That was funny. No mercy. Some of those might have just been bring your kid to work day people, you know?
Absolutely. But there are moments like that in this movie that I really enjoy. There's a sequence where he rescues most of the kids and he gets them onto a bus and they're driving away. And I'm like, oh, that's what this movie is now. He's rescuing kids. This is going to be like the rest of the movie. And, you know, it's got that kind of 80s violence, non-violence. But then a guy like... tumbles off the bus and you see him just go right under a car. And I'm like, okay, all right.
Okay.
Pretty good.
This is just chaos. We're just trying everything.
Absolutely. And Lou Gossett Jr. is in this as well.
Sure is. That is undeniable.
Remember the sequence where he takes out that guard and then he eats the pizza? The guard drops?
Yeah.
Apparently that was improvised. He just did that, which I like a lot. So he used to work...
Didn't look like good pizza.
No, it didn't.
Didn't look fresh.
Thin as well.
You'd demand your money back if you received that pizza.
Maybe it was a pita bread pizza.
Ugh.
I'll do a pita bread pizza, Mason.
Yeah, you would. You don't have any taste buds.
No, it's for my kids as well. It's good. You could use the pita bread as a base. You know, use all fresh, good ingredients. It's very possible, Mason.
You should be in prison.
No, I shouldn't. I don't think I should be in prison for that. I think there's people doing real crimes, and if somehow this goes to trial, I think it's a waste of everybody's resources, quite frankly.
I don't think it is, and I think you belong in prison.
All right.
The other option, James, is the Punisher machine guns you.
Yeah.
Or nails you to a van with a crossbow.
I don't want that.
And those are your two choices. Go to jail or Punisher murders you.
I guess I'll go to jail.
Thank you. You're welcome.
I bet they'd let me make my pita bread pizzas in jail, though, wouldn't they?
I guess so they could sentence you to more jail.
I don't want more jail. I didn't do anything. I feel like I'm being wronged. So yeah, Lou Gossett Jr. used to work with Frank Castle. Then, you know, when they finally come face to face, and then it's told to Frank, or he tells Frank, I can't remember. It's like, you know, you were best friends and you betrayed me, you let me down. But it's like, mate, his family got murdered. Like, what are you talking about? I've been chasing you around for 5 years. I'm also tired. Settle down, idiot.
Yeah.
But yeah, a good inclusion. I like him.
What did you think of Zoska Elise as Tanaka's daughter? No blue link on Wikipedia, unclickable. I think perhaps her only role. but she's just a largely silent woman who has deadly earrings.
Oh, yeah.
And then the Punisher just twists her head all the way around at the end.
I didn't think that was going to happen.
Right?
Because normally in a movie like this, he would have a female best friend or a reporter or whatever, and they'd have the fight.
Right.
But he does it, and he just fucking snaps her neck, which is also what the Punisher would do.
Yeah.
Because we'll probably talk about it in subsequent videos. But the Punisher's awful, and nobody likes him. Like, everybody fucking hates him. Like, all spectrums of the superhero universe think this guy's an absolute fucking dirtbag. And he would do something like this. So, massive respect is what I'm saying.
Also, very good. I thought she was a good martial artist.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially for the time.
Yes, for the pre-Matrix is what you're saying. So, yeah, at the end, there's a final fight where the mafia boss who he was helping out, I like that pairing as well. Two guys working together. That's good.
That is Dutch actor, I believe. What's his name? Jeroen Krabbe.
Oh.
He's known for a bunch of stuff. You'll see him in, for example, he's Koskov in The Living Daylights.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Costco.
He's Costco in The Living Daylights.
Very good.
Now listen here, Bond. Go to Costco and get me a big pallet of waters. Well, for Queen and Country, Em, if you say so.
So in that final fight between him and the mob boss, originally it was going to be Tommy wrestles with his own father over the gun and Frank Castle stabs him in the back with a knife, killing him. And they were like, oh, that's not very fair. So they rebuilt that set in LA and they changed it up so it was more of a kind of a fair fight.
Okay.
Which I guess
that
makes
probably
sense.
cost more than the entire production in Australia.
I think it was mostly a white room, but yeah, I see what you're saying. And then at the end, Frank Castle, after killing the mafia dad and the son has the gun on him, he's like, let's see if you can shoot me.
That's right. He taunts a child whose father he just murdered.
And then he goes, listen, be good or I'm going to come back and I'm going to kill you. Yeah. And that's how he ends that relationship.
That's right.
And that's terrific.
I think that's heartwarming. That's beautiful. That's right.
There's some really good Frank Castle stuff, and this is what I'm saying. I think you would like this movie 30% more if he had the skull on his t-shirt.
I am very easily tricked. Again, you well know, James, that I would have loved the Transformers movies probably 50% more if Optimus Prime always just turned into his classic truck mode.
Absolutely.
But he didn't, so those movies are bad. I mean, they're bad for other reasons.
But 50% less bad. Yeah. More bad? Yeah.
I mean, they're bad.
They're bad.
But you're
movies.
Absolutely right. If he did have the skull on his chest, I'd be like, yeah, that's my Frank.
There he goes.
There he is.
Yeah.
That's Frank Castiglione.
Classic lowering down a rope and hooking a guy with a rope.
Oh, he's done it again. Done it again.
Anyways, you know what it's time for?
What's that time for?
The Punisher 19A Trivia. This is the trivia section of the show where I find some trivia. If you do manage to track down the Blu-ray of this, by the way, there is director commentary. We will tell you all about it. But here's some of the best stuff, Mason.
Go on.
During a flashback sequence, apparently these kids are wearing Spider-Man pajamas, which is a nod to the Amazing Spider-Man 129, where the Punisher first appeared. Also, Dolph Lundgren recreated that. I don't know if you've seen that image. He went on the Launchpad podcast, and they were like, put on the Punisher shirt. And then he finally got to wear it, and they recreated the cover, and it's iconic, Mason.
Okay.
Do you think it's iconic?
I think it's iconic.
I agree, it is iconic. Yeah. You'll like this because you're Australian. The Coney Island Funhouse is actually...
Is it Luna Park? Is it Sydney Luna Park?
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
You see the pirate ship. You know it's Luna Park, man.
Yeah, uh-huh.
I think it's a great stand-in for Coney Island because Luna Park, well, both of them in Australia. Is there only two? Melbourne and
there's
Sydney?
only two, yeah.
Yeah, it's a real shitty-looking place. So, mate, really good stuff.
They should have invented a villain called the Clown with the Big Teeth.
Yeah,
he should have been like, come to my hideout to the Punisher. You'll know it as the funhouse with the really big teeth.
Yeah, they could have just...
Damn it, I've got to go.
They could have just done that.
And they could have, but they didn't.
Yeah, they didn't, yeah. Christopher Lambert was the first choice for the role.
Ooh.
I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. Apparently, Steven Seagal also expressed interest. Now, I guess at the time, Steven Seagal would have had a pretty classic kind of look, like Punisher look, I guess.
A man?
Yeah, like slicked back, black hair and whatever. But
they would have had to conceal the ponytail because he would have refused to cut it.
Done that, yeah. Mm-hmm. Also, he sucks. He's awful.
Yeah, he's awful.
He's an awful man for multiple reasons, but he does an incredible judo demonstration. You know,
here it is.
As seen here. God, how does he do that?
Arthritis, I think.
Yeah, is that what he's doing?
Yeah.
He's doing arthritis?
Mm-hmm.
And final bit of the Punisher 89. Stan Lee gave this movie his blessing, but then when he saw it, he said, it's too violent. It's a Punisher, man.
Yeah.
So
Well, come on, Stanley.
Stan. Get it together, Stan.
Come on, Stan.
Yeah.
I've just had a thought. When you know the title sequence.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of like it feels like sort of a throwback to like a 1970s kind of action kind of vibe to it. It's a guy with nunchucks. Did you ever find a guy with nunchucks?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't remember actually.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
Neither do I.
You should watch this movie again.
I'm not going to.
We'll watch it together.
We won't.
We might.
No, we won't.
No, we never will.
No.
Now, in terms of box office, this didn't actually get a release in the United States, Sweden, or South Africa. There was a number of reasons for this. One of them was because Dolph Lundgren's previous movie, Red Scorpion, didn't do super well. Mm-hmm. They also were like, oh, he doesn't have the skull. Apparently, that was a reason also that it wasn't going to be...
I don't know if you know this, but in South Africa, it's illegal to have a main character in a movie that doesn't have a skull on their chest.
Oh, or have a skull in their head. You got to have a skull in your head.
So true, isn't it?
Yeah. But it did have a budget of $9 million, and in being released around the world, it did make 30. So it made its money back, and of course, it went direct to video in a number of places. So it did numbers, which is why a sequel was announced in 1990, despite New World Pictures not wanting to do that.
We're planning on going out of business, they said.
Big plans. And Dolph Lundgren didn't want to do it. Like, he thought it was a disappointing film in general. I think he's a bit more fond of it now than he was then. I think he looks more like the Punisher now as well.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
He's the Punisher.
More of a brick.
Yeah, more of a brick. He's supposed to be grizzled and very old.
What I would say, kudos to Dolph Lundgren, because in the previous movie of his that we reviewed, He-Man and the Master of the Universe, I think he was a little bit reticent to show his bottom.
Yeah.
And in this, we see it multiple times. He's doing a big naked meditation. Classic Punisher move.
That is very true.
To do the naked meditation and talk to God before you kill a bunch of kids' fathers,
Doesn't he normally just chew like a fistful of painkillers and just run into battle?
Almost certainly.
Isn't that what he normally does?
Yeah.
Remember he was Captain America that time?
The Punisher?
Yeah, he's been Captain America,
sure.
hasn't he?
Sure,
Might
absolutely.
be in another dimension or whatever.
Yeah.
Remember when he was black?
Yes, of course I do.
For a bit.
Yeah. I do a naked meditation while reading those comics. I'm familiar.
Oh, my goodness. He did also reprise the role very briefly. There was a French sketch show in French, and it's him and he's standing there, and he's sort of vaguely dressed as a Punisher, but he is blonde and tan now, and he's like starts crying during it. And it's a very funny thing, I'd imagine, if you were French or if you understood French.
Okay.
I didn't get it, so I didn't think it was funny. I thought it was stupid, but it's not because I didn't understand it.
Wow.
Yeah.
In French, he's called the Punisher.
Oh,
That's right.
that makes sense, I guess. So yeah, look. Incredible movie. But there's more Punisher movies to come.
I find it very credible.
Oh, really? You think it's real, do you?
I think it was very credible that this movie existed and didn't cost a lot of money, and it's generally not very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I disagree on some of those things. I think
you don't find it's credible. You
yeah.
cannot believe this movie exists.
Kind of.
Wow.
Because it is a live-action Marvel movie and people don't really talk about it, and I think it's somewhat decent considering when it came out. I was expecting something more in line with like the 1990 Captain America movie or, like the 70s Spider-Man TV series. I think it's got the production behind it is a little more solid.
You're right. It's also interesting that I mean, I suppose you're right in the sense that I guess at the time Marvel's philosophy was just sort of
don't go bankrupt.
Yeah, just license out anything. These days, see, even now I don't think they do a cinema release with a kind of a Punisher character with this level of violence.
I don't think so, yeah.
But back then they're just like, we'll take your money. Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
We don't need to see the skull on the chest.
Nah, man.
It's more plausible deniability for us.
Exactly. So anyways, if you like any of this and you want to see these videos early, like for example, next week when we look at the Punisher 2004, we have a service called bigsandwich.co where if you check that out, there's, as mentioned, early videos. We do video game Let's Plays.
That's right.
We do bonus podcasts.
That's right.
Our podcast, The Weekly Planet, where we talk movies and comics and TV shows, that comes out there every Sunday as opposed to Monday. But if you do want to listen to that, because, we have a good fun time there, we talk the movie or TV show of the week. Maybe we'll talk about Daredevil TV series, Mason.
We're going to talk about Daredevil?
That's happening. That's on Spotify. It's got its own YouTube channel. It's on Apple. It's wherever you want to podcast.
That's right.
Yeah. And that's everything that I think I'll ever have to say about this movie. I got all my thoughts out, and now I can die. Or meditate nude.
Or go to prison.
No, Mason, I shouldn't go to... Oh, I have to though, don't I?
Because of the pizza thing.
Or I'll get shot?
Yes. That is the rules we established for this episode and this episode only.
All right, that's good. Thanks, everyone.
Grab that gem, you guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.